Hey guys, how you doing? It's Gavyn here from the Growing Younger team. I'm a personal trainer, nutrition coach and functional aging specialist, which basically means I'm an expert in helping people over the age of 40 get fit and healthy despite having injuries and lifestyle related diseases like high blood pressure, diabetes, all those sorts of things. And today's video, what I want to talk to you about is literally how to lose weight in your 40s, 50s and 60s. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because a lot of my clients are struggling with weight loss, and certainly as we notice when we get into your 50s and 60s, it becomes or seemingly becomes very difficult to lose weight. I just wanted to put a video series together for you, and this is probably going to be about a 5 to 6 part video series. And I'm going to outline how you can actually do it. But today's video is literally about an overview of how your metabolism works and some of the problems that come with aging, because we're not you guys may not be spring chickens like you were in your 20s, and you obviously need to make a change. So for me, I was once very overweight. I was 20 kilos overweight up until about 8 years ago, and I've been an overweight child and all those other things, an adult. And it wasn't until 8 years ago I decided to make a real lifestyle change and to understand how my body reacted and to basically lose weight, but not just lose weight, to keep it off for the long term. That was my main goal. And what people tend to say is that we've got a weight problem, and you haven't got a weight problem, you haven't got a weight loss problem. What you've got is a weight management problem. We are so impatient when it comes to losing weight that what happens is we do something that is too hard, that is too fatty, that's too chronically low in calories, too high in exercise, and we lose weight. But what happens is it's unsustainable, and that was my whole point of this thing. It needs to be sustainable. And the first question you need to ask yourself before you embark on any kind of diet or fitness regime is, can I stick to this for the long term? Now, there's some pretty alarming stats around dieters in general. Dieting is actually a terrible way to lose weight, believe it or not, and certainly for the long term. And the stats say that in the first year, 75% of people regain their weight. In the second year, it's 85%, and in the third year, 95%. So 95% of people in 3 years will lose their weight. So I'm probably in that 5% of people that have actually managed to keep it off for the long term, which is quite an alarming stat, okay? And what I'm going to do is, in this video series, outline how I've done it and how you can do it as well, and the problems that I see having trained a lot of people in this age demographic. Now, as I said, diets don't work, okay? We're just going to establish that. And what you need to do is basically look for a lifestyle change, because if you don't, there's a good chance in the next 2 to 3 years you'll be back to where you started, and if not, heavier. So what I'm going to do, these little drawings here are going to quickly outline how the metabolism works, all right? So you might say that I've got a slow metabolism, I used to, and that is why you can't lose weight. So I'm going to break it all down for you, and we're going to work it out. So your metabolism is broken down into about 5 different parts, okay? Depending on where you look, maybe 6, but I'm going to go with 5 today. And that is your something called a TDE, which is your total daily energy expenditure. And that TDE is made up of 4 other things. One is your basal metabolic rate, which is responsible for 70% of your energy output. And BMR is basically, if you were to lie you down on a bed all day with a strapped machine, we would check how many calories it took you to exist, right? Then we're looking at something called the NEAT effect. So NEAT is non-exercise activity. It basically means fidgeting, moving around, walking around with a dog, day-to-day work, all those sorts of things. Okay, what I'm doing with my hands now is called NEAT, and that accounts for about 15% of those calories, okay, as output. And then you got the TEE, which is a thermic effect of exercise, which basically means your exercise. If you work out for an hour a day, that is responsible for about 5% of your total daily output. And then you've got, what have I missed? TEF, thermic effect of feeding, which is the energy it takes to digest your food, right? And all of these ones are pretty much, you can manipulate to the better. So what happens is, okay, when you diet is your body awakens 3 defense mechanisms, okay, to diet, and that's from an evolutionary standpoint. Because at the end of the day, when you're trying to go on a diet, all you're doing is you're restricting calories, okay, essentially, and it's basically controlled starvation. That's what you're doing. You're controlling yourself starving. And what it does is, okay, it does this to basically prevent you from dying. I mean, at the end of the day, it slows the metabolism down. It wants to reduce the energy gap to stop you from starving. So when you reduce your fat cells are like an organ. They talk, they secrete hormones, and they send certain signals to your brain. And what they want to try and do, is I'm going to draw this little picture out for you right now, is that when you, I'll draw a little chart here, when you start to diet, okay, you may be 2,000 calories right there, and then you cut out 500 calories and you're now eating 1,500 calories. Well, this is called an energy gap, all right? So your body likes homeostasis. It doesn't actually like to change. There's a body fat set point, and there's a body fat set point theory, which basically says your body likes to stay where it is, right? So your body will do everything it can to get you back to this body weight set point. And this has probably taken over a few years. It hasn't taken you 5 weeks to get overweight. It's taken you a long time. And your body likes to sit where it is, okay? And that's what your body will fight to do. So what it'll try and do is it'll try to reduce your total daily energy expenditure. So what it'll do is it'll cut down on your non-exercise activity. So if you're somebody that's like to fidget a lot, your fidgeting will slow down. If you regularly up and about moving around in work, your body will stop you doing those things. And what they say is you could potentially influence your non-exercise activity by 500 calories. So your body will quite happily shut down 500 calories worth of energy expenditure to try and meet this energy gap, because now you're eating less. It wants to match it. The output wants to be the same as what you take in, because that's how our bodies are designed to do. So what then happens is then, it may turn down your need, but it signals for you to eat more. So you become hungry, and if you've been on a diet, you've experienced these really horrible hunger drives. And that's because your body is telling you that you're pretty starving. We need to match this calorie balance, and we're going to lower your activity, increase your food, and hopefully find that homeostasis balance again. And what it actually does then is, when it signals to this starvation thing, it basically is preparing your body to become efficient at storing fat. So if you're somebody that has lost weight and regained weight again after and gone above what you were originally, this is because it happens. And it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, because if you lose a lot of weight and then you go back to eating exactly how you were, your body is now primed, because of this self-defense mechanism, to store extra fat. It becomes efficient at storing fat. And what we don't want that to happen. We want our bodies to be inefficient with fat, so we can expend energy without storing it, which is the whole idea. Okay, so that's kind of what happens when you diet. So when you diet, okay, so this is just like normal general overview of what happens. So then what we're going to do, aging brings its own problems, all right? So aging, obviously, when this little chart I'll allude to in a second, your aging brings its own problems. Things like age-related muscle decline called sarcopenia. If that happens, your whole thermic total daily expenditure will decrease, because muscle is an active tissue, requires calories to be. And if you don't have muscle, then you're not going to burn those extra calories, right? Limited activity. So when you could be on this diet thing, as you get older, what I see is that people's activity tends to go down a little bit. And it could be they've got office jobs now, they were doing manual labor, they now do office jobs. It means that the kids have moved out and they're no longer as active as they were with their kids. It may mean they just don't feel like, because they haven't got the energy to do that anymore, so they're less active, right? And all these things, will directly relate to this chart here. So which means then, you're doing less activities, you burn less calories. Stress is a big one. Stress can cause you to overeat. And if you can eat and eat and eat and eat, with your cortisol levels rise, and you're not actually doing the extra activity to burn it off. Lack of sleep is always a big one. And if you don't sleep enough, your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, which I'm going to do a video about during this course of this series, they become out of whack. And what happens is your satiety hormone goes down, and your hunger hormone goes up, and then you overeat. Okay, I think that's the right way around. Then you've got this chart is you eat the same that you've always done, but your metabolism is slower. So let's just look at this chart here. Hopefully you can see it. I'll try and zoom in if it's not very good. So this red line here is your metabolism. So through your 40s, 50s and 60s, your metabolism will start to decline. It just does. That's what happens when you age. So What generally happens is though, as your metabolism starts to go down, there becomes these tiny little gaps, if you like, of calorie gaps or energy gaps. And when you get here, they become bigger and bigger. And this is where the middle age spread starts to happen. So your calories remain the same. Calories in remain the same. Your calories out are decreased. And it's exponential. It comes down pretty quick. And there's something called a disability threshold, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. But what happens is as this comes down, you know, all of a sudden now you're taking in, let's just say maybe 300 calories extra than you were back here, and therefore you're now overweight. Not only that, you've got less muscle mass, you're less active, you're not exercising anymore, and the food you're eating is not really all that good in terms of energy burning. So, which leads me on to the thermic effect of feeding. If you have a diet which is very, very high in carbohydrates and fat, okay, what happens is that your body doesn't use a lot of energy to digest it. But studies have shown, and what I've seen in myself and with my clients as well, if protein is high and fiber is high and your calories are constant, you will always be able to lose weight as long as your calories are in control. Because both protein and fiber have a very high thermic effect, which basically means that it takes a lot of energy to burn, to digest those foods. So protein and fiber have a 30% thermic effect, which means that, let's just say if you took 100 calories of protein in, 30 of those calories, so if you took 100 calories of protein in, 30 of those calories would go to digestion, same with fiber. Whereas if you took 100 grams of carbs in, only 4% of those calories would go for digestion, which is like obviously 4 calories. So you can see that a higher protein diet and a higher fiber diet will spark this thermic effect of feeding to make it as optimal as you possibly can to burn those extra calories. And that's what happens when you get older. A lot of my clients I see just do not eat enough protein, do not eat enough fiber. And that's a big deal. Another thing as well is when you start to get older, you get these bad habits that are really hard to break. So you've probably heard the term, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, what happens is you can, it's a little bit harder. And what I see with my clients and what I tend to do is try and break these little habits, these self-limiting beliefs. And we try and, you know, work these into your new day. So if a simple one would be drinking more water through the day. And if you're somebody that drinks lots of coffee, and I've got family members here who will not drink water whatsoever, they drink lots of coffee but not water. It's just a bad habit they go into. And once those habits are really ingrained, it's really hard for you to move out of those habits because it's something you've always done. And we're creatures of habit. We don't like change. But your habits are so ingrained where you got out of the habit of exercising, you got out of the habit of eating healthy, you got out of the habit of drinking water. You may have got into the habit of eating higher calorie foods and drinking more alcohol and all those sorts of things. And there where it becomes a problem. It becomes very difficult to disconnect from that to make these lifestyle changes. So like as we said at the beginning, we don't want to do a diet for a short period of time. We want to adopt a lifestyle change over time. It's something you can always do. And then you've got things like metabolic conditions, thyroid issues, all those sorts of things, which can have a negative impact. Medications have an impact on your metabolism and weight loss as well. But in saying that, despite those conditions, you can absolutely still lose weight by controlling your calories, controlling your fiber and your protein. Because at the end of the day, you know, you may say, or people may argue, it isn't about calories in, calories out. Medication is to blame. This is to blame, that's to blame. But ultimately, if I said to you, eat nothing for the next month, just drink water, what do you think would happen? You would lose weight. Why would you lose weight? Because you're not eating any calories, you're not eating any energy. Therefore, your energy output will be more. Is it a good way to do it? Absolutely not. But you see this in the world, okay? You see looking at third world countries where they are very, very skinny. You look in the Western world where we're overfed and we were very, very fat. And if this starvation thing and this stuff about you go into starvation mode and you can't lose weight because you're eating too low calories, it's absolute nonsense. Because if that was the case, you'd have all the people in the third world countries who are not eating anything would be massively overweight. That's just not how it is, okay? It is ultimately calories. But what happens is because your metabolism is such a low point and your actual total daily energy expenditure is so low, it may seem that you have to go very, very low calorie to start to see some weight loss gains. But if you can take care, if you can do a little bit of exercise and we can add a bit more protein, and add a bit more energy and neat, a bit more sleep, well, this BMR, this total daily expenditure, will go up just a little bit, okay? And it's very small, but obviously if you continue to do it, you add some more muscle with your exercise. You eat more protein, which helps build more muscle, but will obviously help you burn more calories. So that is kind of an overview of what is happening to you as you're older. Did I say injuries? Yeah, so one of the things would be injuries as well. So if you've got a bad knee or a bad hip or shoulders, you may be less likely to want to do a lot of moving around. But even so, Alex and I run the Growing Younger program. We have clients who've had hip surgeries, shoulder surgeries, and there's always a way, there's always something you can do to actually do it. It just becomes more of a, doing the right thing. So, as I said, that's a bit of an overview of how to lose weight in your 40s, 50s and 60s, and why we are actually overweight when we get to this point. And the next video I'm going to do is going to be on around calories. I'm going to really expand on calories and calorie intake and why it's important. And then the other videos will follow from that. So if you did like this video, guys, do us a favor. Can you give me a like, hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any of these videos. Also, as well, is that we've written a book, which I'm going to put the link down in the description box. So if you want to get that book, you're more than welcome to buy it off us. It's literally, its title, I always forget the title, is How to Feel and Look 10 Years Younger, your an ultimate guide to staying functionally fit after 50. It's a collaboration of Alex, who's a physio, and myself, and we go into the anti-aging type deal about why we age, which is really important, understanding the mechanisms of aging. And then I go through, I talk about motivation and mindset, I talk about exercise and nutrition in really, really good detail. And it's something that you can really sort of, it's an easy to read book, only about 300 pages, but you can actually implement this stuff in your life. And you can click on the link down below if you want to get a hold of that. So that's it from me. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. If you do have any comments, leave them below. If you have any questions about what I've said, let me know. It'll just make me cover off the videos in a bit more detail if you need it. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. So as I said, guys, take care. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.